Hey folks, I'm Zeke Garcia, and we are here at the Origins Summer Preview 2015. I'm being joined by Nick Little from Action Phase Games, and we are taking a look here at, what is it,
Ninja Camp. Ninja Camp, yeah.
Which I've been to many a time.
Haven't we all?
Yes. Tell me a little bit about this one.
So the premise behind this game, or the theme to it, is that you play as an animal who doesn't have a fighting style. So you know how in ninja movies or kung fu movies you'll have crane style or tiger style or monkey style. So you're going to play as one of these animals that hasn't quite made it there yet. So for example, this game you're the hamster.
Hamster style.
Right, and I'm a skunk. Or you could have been flying squirrel or sloth or penguin or platypus, maybe a flamingo or a goat. But these are going to represent individual player powers that you're going to get to use once per game.
Okay.
First thing you're going to do is set out this grid of cards. And it looks like a lot of cards, but the game takes about 15-20 minutes to play, so it'll be a quick cleanup. So what we're going to do is, at the start of the game, is we're going to take turns placing guys on the board. So you'll have 3 pawns. You'll place one, I'll place one, back and forth until we place all 3 pawns. You'll be given these 2 cards to start the game, Evade and Sprint, and also, of course, your animal. And you're going to, on your turn, you're going to play one of your cards, or you're going to activate your power. Okay? So when you play your card, it's going to tell you how you move. And what you're going to do is you're going to play the card, and you're going to pick one of your ninjas on the board and move them how it says to move them. So sprint is kind of one of the most basic ones. It means you just run in a straight line until you run into an edge or someone else.
Okay.
So I can be like, okay, whoop, I'll run all the way over to here, I run into you, so I stop. And then you pick up the card that you left. So you're going to constantly have beginning cards, and you're going to have to plan ahead for what cards you want by picking where you're going to end up. So then you're going to play a card and do it back and forth. So you can play your sprint, you can use your dodge to run all the way over to shadow, or your sprint to run all the way over to shadow, and you'll pick up your dodge. So you're just going to keep discarding these cards, playing cards back and forth, and they all have different abilities. So the one you just picked up, Dodge, it's the most flexible movement card. It'll let you move up to 2 spaces, including diagonal.
Okay.
We went over Sprint. There's one called Leap that'll let you, if you play it, it'll let you jump over empty spaces. So it's the only way to jump over empty spaces when you play it. This card, Shadow, will let you copy the last card that somebody else played.
Okay.
There's one like attack card in the game called Ambush. That'll let you move into a space with an opponent, but you have to be able to push them to the space behind them in a line. So there are negative cards in the game called Traps that are worth negative points and you can't play them. So if you could set up a situation where you were like pushing somebody into a trap, that's a big point swing. At the end of the game, you're going to get points you're going to pick up the cards that you're on, and then you're going to add them to the points in your discard pile and in your hand. So the point totals are up here in the upper right. So in general, the lower point cards are easier to play, like give you more flexible movement, and the higher point cards are maybe a little bit tougher to play or more limited in usage.
Right, and they hurt your hand, basically.
Right, exactly, because you really only have those 3 cards you can play, your start 1 and 2. There is one card that's worth 0 points, but it lets you move to, and then pick up the card that you moved on to additionally. Okay. So if you played it from here, you can go boom, boom, and pick up both of these 2 cards.
Got it. So this power that you have, the built-in player power, you can keep playing that one? You
can only play it once per game. Once you play it, you flip it over, and you see your guys kind of grayed out here. I want to stress that this is a prototype, so the art is finished, but there was some formatting changes, and you can't really read the title on the box.
Sure.
But yeah, and these will be different pieces. I think we're going to try and make them ninja meeples depending on how well that the Kickstarter goes. Okay. But yeah, like I said, the game plays out pretty quickly. It's a great game for families, and an interesting point that was brought up by my partner is where you end up in the game is based on your choices. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of times you play a quick game and there's a lot of randomness to it, or somebody just affects you more than you affect you. This is solely like you're trying to control what area you can rope off from somebody else so they can't get there and gain the most points. It's kind of a movement maximization sort of game.
Excellent. It sounds really interesting. It sounds like my kind of game, actually. Very tactical, strategic. I love the card play. This is really neat. The game is called Ninja Camp.
Ninja Camp.
And you guys are looking at what kind of time frame?
We are launching on Kickstarter on the 15th of June. So, July 20th.
Okay.
We have another game that's launching sooner. Yeah, July 20th is when we're launching this. Right. This is by a different designer. We didn't design this. We did a lot of development on it and changed some things. But this is by a designer, Adam Dalton, out of Indianapolis. It's a good friend of ours.
All right.
So yeah, that's when we're launching. We're looking at like a $19 backer fee. So it'll be a cheap game to pick up.
All right. Well, there you go. Ninja Cam from Action Phase Games. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you, folks, for tuning in. We'll see you.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com.